Are you listening?
Welcome to another episode of the Nerf Report, your go-to source for all the week's gaming news, nerfed into one show once a week, so you can worry less about reading the news and get back to playing those video games. If you think that sounds awesome, make sure to support the channel by hitting that subscribe button and sharing it with your friends. And of course, on this week's episode, one of the most anticipated games of this year's E3 is Crystal Dynamics' Project Avengers. And thanks to the recent job postings by Crystal Dynamics, we can now begin to piece together what this game might actually be. But before we talk about any of that, your top headlines. PlayStation's next generation console is right around the corner, and it looks like one of this generation's biggest games, Marvel's Spider-Man, might be getting a sequel. Thanks to the latest issue of Marvel's Spider-Man City at War, which, if you weren't aware, takes place in the Marvel Gamerverse and has served as a direct tie-in to the Marvel Spider-Man video game. In the latest issue, Spider-Man goes head-to-head with Swarm, the symbiotic warfare anthophilia restraining model. Swarm first appeared in Marvel Comics back in 1977 and is a shape-shifting Nazi made of bees. Now, there has been no official comment from PlayStation or Marvel Games to the existence of a sequel to Spider-Man, but if worst comes to worst, perhaps Swarm might just appear in some new Spider-Man DLC. Epic Games. The creator of Fortnite has gone by many names as of late. Innovator, villain,
Destroyer.
or as one gamer described them on Trustpilot.com, worst company ever. 1-star review. Well, this week, Epic Games officially added a new name to their business card, owner of Rocket League. That's right, this week it was announced that Epic Games has acquired developer Psyonix, the creators of Rocket League. And while the acquisition was met by fear from some gamers, mainly due to the idea that Rocket League might become an exclusive to the Epic Games Store, however, Psyonix quickly reassured gamers by saying, the PC version of Rocket League will come to the Epic Games Store in late 2019. It will continue to be available for purchase on Steam, and it will continue to be supported on Steam for all existing purchasers.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Earthworm Jim is making a comeback, and even though we all dreamed of that Nintendo Direct Super Smash Bros. Reveal where Earthworm Jim joined the battle, it looks like we're gonna have to wait just a little longer for that one. Because this week it was revealed that a remake of Earthworm Jim is currently under development. If you weren't aware, Earthworm Jim is a side-scrolling run-and-gun shooter, and the remake is being made by the original development team. But don't get too excited. The Earthworm Jim remake will not be coming to the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, or the Nintendo Switch. Instead, the game will be launching in 2020 exclusively for the Intellivision Amico. And finally for this week, it's been a while, but I think it's time that we take a quick stop into the world of sports.
Finish him!
This week, the world of esports gained a new villain, as esport athlete XXiF was caught cheating during a Fortnite World Cup qualifier. In a video posted on Twitter, XXiF and his teammates were accused of feeding kills to XXiF in order to boost his rankings to qualify for the Fortnite World Cup. And after reviewing the footage, Fortnite has ruled that XXiF and the players involved will receive a 14-day competitive ban, along with forfeiting any prize money. But the bad news for XXiF doesn't stop there, as his team Rise Nation announced that following the recent allegations confirmed by Epic Games, XXiF has been released from the Rise Fortnite roster.
Now for something completely different. Yeah.
Avengers. Right now, Avengers Endgame is dominating box offices around the world. I mean, currently, the movie has generated over $1.7 billion worldwide. And somewhere, the executive that turned down the idea of an original Iron Man movie is face deep in a bottle of whiskey, probably listening to Simon Garfunkel while just being like, why? Now, I for one have seen the movie twice, but if you're like me, there's still a giant void in your heart because I just want to be loved to 3,000. But even more than that, I just want to play a damn Avengers video game. And we do know that an Avengers video game does exist, because back in 2017, over 2 years ago, Marvel Entertainment posted a trailer to YouTube called the Avengers Project Announcement Trailer. The trailer was used to announce a multi-year, multi-game partnership between Marvel and the Square Enix divisions of Crystal Dynamics and Eidos Montreal. Now, other than that, very little is known about Project Avengers. Rumors and speculation have gone rampant as to what this game might be, but really, the best opportunity we have to understand what Project Avengers might be is to look at Crystal Dynamics and Eidos Montreal's track record. Now, Crystal Dynamics has been making video games since 1993, developing games like Gex and one of the best racing games of all time, Walt Disney World Quest Magical Racing Tour. Go ahead, Mario Kart fans, at me on Twitter. And Eidos Montreal has a great track record as well, with Eidos being the studio that gave us games like Thief and the Deus Ex series. But that, of course, is the past. In recent years, Crystal Dynamics, in partnership with Eidos Montreal, is responsible for one of the best retellings of a classic video game franchise ever. And of course, I'm talking about Tomb Raider. And when we're talking about the Avengers video game, I think Tomb Raider might be the best example of what we can expect from an Avengers video game. A massive cinematic experience filled with deep storytelling, intense action, and rewarding gameplay. Because even though Shadow of the Tomb Raider did get lost in an extremely crowded release window, from a quality perspective, Shadow of the Tomb Raider has received a 7 out of 10 from Metacritic, 7 out of 10 on Steam, and a 9 out of 10 from IGN. So, if the Avengers video game is anything like Shadow of the Tomb Raider, we're in store for a great game. Now, of course, I hear what you're saying. That's purely speculation, and many studios have changed direction or style for new games in the past. Guerrilla Games is a prime example of that. They gave us 5 Killzone video games and then went on to produce one of the greatest open-world games of this generation. But luckily for us, thanks to some recent job postings on Crystal Dynamics' website, we can begin to piece together what Project Avengers might look like. Currently, Crystal Dynamics is hiring multiple positions for their Redwood City studio in California, including an AI combat designer, who will have expertise in constructing enemy and boss encounters for an action-adventure type game that is grounded in the fiction of the world. Crystal Dynamics is also hiring a combat systems designer who will directly work to build the combat systems for a third-person action-adventure game, along with cover and melee-based mechanics and players' weapons. And of course, in English, what all of that means is currently Project Avengers is shaping up to be a third-person action-adventure game with high emphasis on cover and melee mechanics, similar to an Uncharted or a Tomb Raider. But it will also feature a wide variety of bosses for you to fight. Now, of course, the big question here is when and where can I get my hands on the Avengers video games? Well, judging by the jobs page and the wording of each job, I don't think that they're very far along with this game. At best, we might get a new teaser at this year's E3, but realistically speaking, 2020-2021 release date is probably what we're looking at here. But thanks to the job postings, we do know that this game is being designed for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, so it'll probably be a multi-generational game. Which, honestly, I think I speak for everyone. Just make a good game. Because we're pretty tired of gems like this. Whatever it takes. And finally for this week, we come to that noise. Of course, signifies that we are running out of time and coming close to the end of the show. So, in order to cover all the week's remaining news, we must initiate a segment that I like to call... Every single week, we have so much news to talk about and so little time to do it. So we take all the week's remaining news, put 60 seconds on the clock, and try to cover it as fast as humanly possible without running out of breath, passing out, or dying. Which this is the perfect opportunity to remind you we are 3 episodes away from the 100th episode. Mark your calendars. It is going to be a fantastic show. So with that in mind, let's put 60 seconds on the clock. Thunder noise! And go. Fortnite has added invisibility grenades. Respawn has banned over 700,000 cheaters from Apex Legends. All of those cheaters just need to come watch my show. I welcome you with open arms, my children. Saints Row is getting a movie. I can't wait to see what that is. It's going to be crazy. Rated R for sure. Rage 2 has officially gone gold. BioWare has moved its focus to Dragon Age 4. Mortal Kombat is officially being inducted into the Video Game Hall of Fame. We got our first Sonic the live-action movie trailer, which let me know in the comment section where you all fell on that one. Former Rare developers are creating a brand new IP called Tamarin, which is totally adorable. PlayStation Now has officially hit 700,000 subscribers for its streaming service. Flappy Bird is getting a fighting game, which I've got a lot of frustration and need to take out on that. And finally, Netflix has announced an animated Ingress TV show, so check that out. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it for Nerf'd in 60 seconds, and that is it for this week's episode of the show. If you like what you saw, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your friends. As always, my name is Bryant Chappel. You are you, and this has been the Nerf Report. Thanks for watching.